Do you think that Hamlet did the right thing in trying to take revenge?
Great, so the question, do you think Hamlet did the right thing in trying to take revenge? Who wants to take that one? We'll pass this mic to our actors. Thank you, Ben. Who would like to take it? Okay, oh, we have a mic, great. Joey.
Somebody, Joey. You don't want to tell
So please, when you're... Okay, great. So Aaron, do you want to take this one?
No, Lucas.
And actors, if you could share your real name with the audience when you speak.
Julian Glenn Paget. My real name. Name. I think the character of Hamlet had several choices, yet the choice that he decided to take was the right choice. There could have been other ways that it would have ended, but Shakespeare didn't come up with that, as I know of. And I believe that in this day and age, revenge is never a good thing. We all have choices, and we need to be able to think things out or have somebody that we can talk with to bring us back from the brink of doing something destructive. For Hamlet, a timeless play, I look at it not as revenge, but more a way of seeing things through. Not necessarily a good way, but the only way that he knew how, at the age that he was and in the time that he was living in.
Great, other questions? Yeah, over here, if we could pass the cordless mic. Thank you, Darnell, and if you could share your name.
Hello, my name is Bradley. At what point does Hamlet think, or even if he does, at what point in the play does he consider himself maybe crazy? Does he at all consider himself crazy during any moment? Or is he completely justified in exactly what he's doing?
So is that a question for our Hamlet?
Sure, yeah.
At what point does Hamlet think he's crazy? Is that your question? When the ghost runs around through the castle, I think that did something to me. It did something to Hamlet. I believe at the point where he's with Gertrude and he sees the ghost the second time that he has a breakdown. And I believe that he's no longer playing, but he's been engulfed in actually seeing this apparition for a second time. And he's a young man and a lot of things are going on. He doesn't know what to do, so how would anyone act after seeing such a unnatural event? So I would say at that point, when he saw the ghost the second time, he snapped.
Thank you, Luke. Before I take more questions, I forgot to thank our amazing stage manager, Larry Mosley, right here. Larry, stand up. This is the first year we've had a stage manager, and Larry has been, I can't tell you how awesome, organized, reliable, so I thank you from the bottom of my heart for that. All right, other questions? Yes.
Yes. I already have it.
Oh, okay, sorry. All right.
That's okay.
And your name?
Wayne, I'm an actor, and I was amazed, you guys. And, I wanted to know, when did this hit you? When did it become part of you? Because during the rehearsal process, you put yourself there, and I don't think you did this for an audience before.
No.
And so, what was the difference between when you were rehearsing it and then there were 300 people out here?
Okay, who would like to take that? What was the difference? If you want to grab the mic over here, Joey. What's the difference between rehearsing and performing in front of our wonderful audience?
How's everyone doing? Good. For me, it hit me right, it all came together right when the play started. And I have to tell you, it was, we did the rehearsal so many times, but it came out perfect when we did it right now. The energy, and what do you do? I mean, you guys are out there. We got to put it out. We got to put it out there. We got to give it 150%. Whatever happens, happens. And for me personally, I just had like rocks in my stomach the whole time. Now I just want to break down and cry. So if I do, don't worry, I'm okay.
And not only was this the first time that the men performed in front of an audience, it was the first time they had their costumes and props was today, and it was our second time in this space. We usually rehearse in a room less than half the size of this stage. Or about half, I don't know, it's small.
Yeah. Great, and we have a question down here. Okay, did other people want to answer that one?
Personal experience?
John?
It was like, you're out the ocean, okay, and you're on a surfboard, and you see this wave in the set coming at you, and it just happens to be the biggest wave you've seen in about a year or 2 or 3, and it's getting bigger and bigger, and you're trying to catch up and make sure you can get in line with it, and then you're on it, and oh man, we just rode that wave all the way through.
I'm shy, so I don't like to talk a lot. But I think.
And could you share your name?
Oh, my name is Jonathan Wilson. They call me JW. I think for me, I was tricked into the first performance, and I sat in the room and I kind of just went with these guys and I practiced. But I want to really thank the guys in blue for supporting us also, and you guys that came in, because that's really where our energy from. We can practice amongst ourselves, but there's such a charge you get from seeing people here, and we kind of get a chance to show off. So we only get one time at it, so we just do our thing.
Great, thank you. Let's take another question.
Is this on?
Yeah, yes.
Hi, my name is Deanna. Thank you. I've paid to see performances of Shakespeare a lot, and this was fantastic. I can't say I've seen a better. This is for anybody really in the cast, is what's your relationship with Shakespeare now that you've lived with him in your head?
Hey, what's your relationship with Shakespeare now that you've lived with him in your head? Who would like to take that one? Please share your name first.
My name is Terrell. Understanding. My relationship is one of understanding because, I mean, usually you see Shakespeare, you think, oh, it's hard to understand, and then you realize once you learn the parts and you learn the script, you realize that a lot of this is things that everyday people go through. This is kind of spoken in a different language, but it's there. And and my relationship with it personally is that I realize that basically we're not all that different throughout time. Not just now amongst each other, but even through time. We still went through the same things. Love lost, people getting angry, people learning ways to deal with it. And that's just pretty much what it is.
Thank you, Terrell. Anybody else want to take that one?
Hold up, me and Luke always discuss this. Doubt that the stars are fire, but never doubt our love. Let me tell you something. My relationship to Shakespeare, there's some question of whether or not he was a woman. I'm sure everybody heard that, right? There's some question, because the lines, my relationship to it now, is I have never in my life heard lines, right? And if I were a woman, I know that they would captivate me, the lines that he said. So my relationship is one of respect. I dig through all Shakespeare plays now, just reading them and just looking, because I just love his language.
Thank you, JW. I think one of the, we have some more questions. Great. And I just want to answer your question as well. For me, one of the things that has deepened my love of Shakespeare over the years is Shakespeare's power to encourage contemplation. Shakespeare is a master at bringing up all these universal life themes, and I don't know about you guys, but for me, sometimes my eyes, they're built to look outward rather than inward. And so doing plays like Shakespeare or any other great artist helps to direct our I like to call it the eye of the heart, to open it up and start to gaze inward at ourselves and reflect on what we're doing here on the planet. All right, we had some more questions.
Yeah, here. My name is Allison, and that was the most inspired and inspiring Shakespeare I've ever seen. And my question is, for any of you, what were the reasons that you signed up to do this, and what did you think you would get out of it, and is that what you got out of it, or something different?
And your name is Allison?
Allison.
Great. Who wants to take that one?
Well, for me,
and your name is?
My name is Wayne Villafranco. They call me Belizean Rasta. I was invited to come check it out. And so I just went to check it out. Next thing you know, I got a part. I didn't know I was going to be a queen. I think it's a phenomenon that I got that position, but what, it taught me something about women, that what they go through with some men and everything like that, they're not appreciating or respecting, so knowing, as being playing a woman, I understand, they say you can't understand a person until you walk a mile in their shoe. I didn't walk a mile in a woman's shoe, but one step, I felt that.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
And Joey, you want to take that question?
Yeah, my name is Joey Mason, or AKA Joey Bag of Donuts, as you'll see on the billing. For me, Luke brought me into this Shakespeare. He saw, I'm kind of a clown, it's kind of how I do my time, is try to make light of things. And he brought me into Festi, into Twelfth Night. And the biggest challenge was trying to remember the lines. Because my mind had never gone there to where I actually had to remember anything. And from there, it's interesting, because after today, I now understand Hamlet. All the way up until this point, it was just bits and pieces. But what I really love about it is the language. I love the wit. It's awesome. I'm hooked. I am now a dope fiend for Hamlet.
Great. And another question over on the right. You've had your hand up. Oh, another answer? Okay, RC, did you want to answer that question?
Yes, I'll answer. What brought me to Shakespeare was, I'm Rodney Capel, they call me RC. What brought me to Shakespeare was an invitation. I had took some acting classes years ago, but what I like about Shakespeare is that he talks about things that we think about that we don't think anybody else knows that we think about. And he gives us an opportunity to perform, and that's what I appreciate about it.
Great, thank you, RC. In the back, you've had your hand up for a while.
I would like to address the Angel Kimani myth, this young lady right here in Hamlet. How innately close did you allow your personal self to get with your character? And by doing that, as you vested your character, how therapeutic was it for your true self?
Okay, so, and your name is?
Madness.
Sorry, Magnus? Magnus. Okay, who wants to take Magnus's question? Angel.
Her and Mr. Hamlet. Those right there, because I don't know, for some reason I was just drawn to all your characters. That's what I want to know. How innately close did you allow yourself as a person to get with your character? And by investing in your character, how therapeutic was it for your true self?
My name is Angelo Belconi, but everybody knows me as Angel. This is my third play. And one of the reasons that I came, first of all, is because I was invited by good friends who are in this group. But for all of you that believe, there's a saying that idle minds are the devil's workshop. And this keeps us motivated, it keeps us interested in our rehabilitation. And for me, there's a lot of purging in this group because I get to not be me for right now, me a convicted felon. I get not to be a convicted felon while I'm up here. I get to be an actor. I get to be someone else back in the time of Shakespeare. So, you have that humanity amongst us. And, right now, I had to think of my dear friend Bella, who always encourages me. And I had to think about something happening to her so that I could start crying for this guy, you know what I mean? Because otherwise I can't cry at all. But it's very therapeutic. It gives us a great opportunity. They should have this at every prison, seriously.
So you have to do it, young man.
Yes, sir. I'm feeling you.
My name is Quentin. From the beginning, when I was invited by J-Dub and my boy Luke here, I took it serious because everything I do, I take serious. I try to perfect it. I lost myself in the character when I learned all my lines and when I understood what he was and what he was going to do at the end of the play. So I lost myself in Osric, and it's been very therapeutic for me because it gave me a way to escape my realities for a few moments. So it was good.
Yeah.
And like Joey said, I'm turned out on Shakespeare.
My name is Henry Montgomery. My stage name is Black Myth the MC. My character fit right into what I'm about. I like clowning around. I used to dance back in the days. I'm actually 45 years old, so tomorrow I'll probably be in the NTA office. But as far as the therapeutic part, that song that I did, the chorus, it goes, it's strange how I strain to maintain, my life is so miserable. Miracles never happen. Got faith and only was visible. It's critical times and I can't afford to ignore it. My wounds are enormous and this pain's got me distorted. And a lot of times, I've been down 24 years, that's what I felt like. Sometimes I believed in miracles, sometimes I didn't. Sometimes I believed in things that I couldn't see, and sometimes I did, and vice versa. So, being able to express that, and when I was walking out in the audience, I got a little more emotional than I normally get. I mean, I really went there, and I was really feeling that. And but what I like about the therapeutic part is that every time when you come into Shakespeare, and once you learn your lines, and then Soraya and Leslie, they make us really, get into it, and then it's like you could read something and just read it and you won't really get an effect, but when you close read it and you really get into the words and you read it slow and let it sink in, and it just brings something out of you. They say first there was the Word and the Word was with God, so when you're speaking those words, you're speaking life, so it gives me life. So that's how it gives me therapeutic, I guess, therapy. Yeah, I wrote that song. Yeah.
Hi, my name is Sarah, and oh man, it was really interesting playing Ophelia because I think a lot of people think of her as just this really sad woman who takes her own life and doesn't see any options. And I actually saw her as a different character from day one. I saw her as someone who was taking risks in love and taking risks with her heart. And even though she was living in a time where she was very much controlled by men, controlled by her dad, controlled by just like the social systems set up for her, she had a fire in her still. And, her option that she thought was the best was to take her life in that time. And today there are so many other options for women, but I so enjoyed being able to at least play a woman who was steeped in her own power. And that was very therapeutic for me as I struggle with what it means to be a woman walking out in the world and standing in my own power and believing in that.
So, my name again is Julian, and for the man who asked the question, sir, thank you for being here today. I have been really, wow, it's been a gift from God to have such good people that I can just let loose with and just be whatever character that I'm, lucky enough to get. It's something that I love being the man that I'm becoming. I also love stepping away from that man that I'm becoming and being somebody else. So I enjoy wrapping myself in that cloak. The therapy in it for me is I get to walk around the building and say lines to myself and other men think I'm crazy. So the toughest guys in the building don't bother me. All these people up here are really gifted people, and we are worth more than what they say we are on the daily news. So when you good people come into the San Quentin, know that it is our staff, it is our warden, Mr. Chappelle, it is our staff members like Steve Emmerich, it is our staff members like Laura Bowman Salcedo, who will be leaving us, and so many others. It is our staff members like John Egan, Joan Lister, and Lizzie Bushin is our staff members, and people that come in like our volunteers from all these lovely programs. Soraya Keating and Leslie Courier. It is for all these people that come in here. The gracious lady Sarah and the gracious lady Rachel. Thank you all for this. That is our therapy. Without it, we will not be prepared when we step out into society again.
Thank you, Magnus, for that great question. It reminds me of one of my favorite sayings. If we don't bring out that which is within us, it will kill us. But if we bring out that which is in our hearts, it will save us. And for me, so much of the power of this theater is learning to bring out that which is within us in a healthy way, to make those positive choices, responding to life rather than reacting to it. We have another question over here. Oh, Rachel, great.
Hi, I'm Rachel, and thank you so much. It was utterly powerful and moving. And I'm another one of those people that walks around muttering lines and having people think I'm crazy, so I'm another actor. Although I haven't acted for 100 years. I'm doing other things in the theater. But my question to you guys is, what was the rehearsal process like from the beginning until today? What was it like? I'm sure you each had individual experiences, but literally, what did you do? How long did you read the play? How long? What kinds of exercises? And Soraya's nodding, and I'm curious about that. Thanks.
Okay, who wants to answer that? Terrell?
In the beginning, we did a lot of exercises to like get us open and get us ready. And reading the play, it helped a lot. And also, we forgot to mention one person who was very instrumental, and that's Emily. Thank you very much. Because she helped us to understand our individual characters and to really get into our parts. And she was so instrumental. I mean, it's amazing. You are amazing. Thank you.
Thank you, Terrell. Anybody else want to answer the question about what the rehearsal process was like?
We've been rehearsing. We started working in August.
So
we decided after 12th Night, our comedy last year, that we wanted to do Hamlet, and we started working in August because we wanted to give ourselves a lot of time to work on this play. We've been meeting Fridays, pretty much every Friday, except when, sometimes it's foggy, so they don't let volunteers into the prison. Sometimes there's other things that happen, but pretty much 2 hours on Friday afternoon. And partway through, we extended that to 2.5 hours so that we could work on our next project, which is a parallel play. The men have been writing autobiographical scenes and speeches based on the themes in Hamlet, and they're going to be performing them here in a couple of months. So Hamlet's going to stay with us for a long time. This was the first time we'd ever been through the whole play without stopping. We rehearse in a little room that has no relation to this. We're sort of moving around chairs. There's people talking with Emily in the back about what their lines mean, and people trying to do things on stage, and people having to, go off to other things. It's very chaotic, and the focus that these men display, bringing it all together in the performance that you saw today, despite the many distractions of guests coming in from the outside, people they haven't seen in a year, media interviewing them, is phenomenal. It's a phenomenal achievement.
Great, thank you, Leslie. There's one thing I'll also add about the structure of our rehearsals. We do have a structure amidst the chaos. So every rehearsal, or 95% of the time, we begin with a check-in. So we share where we're at, usually in some creative way. Then we do a warm-up that focuses on some skill related to acting, the skill of listening, the skill of sharing our voice, the skill of using your body. And then we enter into our rehearsal period for as much time as we have, and we always close with an acknowledgement circle where we reflect on the rehearsal and what went well, and also what we want to work on. So we do have a structure in the rehearsal process that helps to contain the chaos. Okay, others want to answer this question? Yes.
What I really wanted to say was that we have, that we have San Quentin Media here. They're filming this, and they have filmed every show that we have done, and they also film so much here at San Quentin State Prison, and that is really conducted by Mr. Larry Schneider, who was gracious enough to come here today and allow us to do this. And also we have, who really heads with all the men that are in the production company, is Troy Cogan-Williams, who does this wonderful show called the San Quentin Prison Report. So watch out for that, because he is producing some great work, and we also have San Quentin News here doing the story, and some other people, so thank you all, and I wanted to give those guys a shout out because they work so hard.
Thank you, Luke. All right, question in the back. Your name?
First of all, my name is Jason. This is my first time ever seeing Shakespeare here, let alone Hamlet. I dropped out of school in the 7th grade, so I never knew what Hamlet was. But today, for the first time, I noticed courage, because I was told that a lot of men not only played the men part, but they also played the female part. So for my homie Rasta, it's a must that I give you your props, or your respect, man. Being a person in blue, I want to specifically ask you, how did you step outside of yourself and be willing to take on that role without worrying about what us in blue would have to say?
Now it was hard, I was struggling with trying to be a queen. I don't know how to play, trying to play a woman. I mean, wow, but now I understand what they go through. But for me, to be able to step out of that, I got to be confident in myself, And the programs in San Quentin helped me to be able to trust in myself, my guts, and my feelings, and that's what helped me and encouraged me. So I learned that, I can't too much worry about what people think, but where I want to go with my life, and I got to focus on that. So it ain't nothing to fear but fear itself. So thank you for asking the question.
Thank you believe.
You know, one thing I learned too, you know what I'm saying? You can play any role you want to, but a man just got to be confident in himself. I'm confident in myself as a man, so I could play that role, you know. So I was great. I was great with that. Thank you.
Great, we have time for a few more questions. A few more, yeah, great.
Hi there, Alma Robinson from California Lawyers for the Arts. I was here a year ago and it was so moving to see this performance, the production, the gift from Marin Shakes, and I think I said something about working with Laurie at William James Association. Laurie, stand up. That we were going to try to restore arts and corrections. And we were going to work on that this year. And so today it's so great that Dr. Larry Brewster is here from USF. Larry, stand up. His wife and our student intern. He's really the national guru of arts and corrections. He did groundbreaking research in 1983, which we're working on restoring through evaluation of these programs. And Wayne Cook is here from the California Arts Council. Just yesterday, we got a call from the Arts Council saying they want to try out this research in a couple of other counties in Central California, and it all comes back to you guys and the wonderful inspiration that you bless us with. You are transformed. We are also transformed. We are ashamed of the place that this state has come to in terms of over-incarceration, under-education. We have to address this. Cannot afford to continue to waste so much intelligence, so much talent, and that you have put yourselves out for this is so meaningful to everybody in this room. But again, it all comes down to each of us deciding to help make the change that we need to see. Thank you again for this wonderful opportunity.
Thank you. And you remind me, it's such an exciting time to be a human being on this planet Earth, because there is so much transformation happening. It's right here in this audience, all of who you mentioned and all of what's happening in so many parts of the world. There's more gatherings to create art, to create healing groups, to do meditations that help us, to create music. So I feel very grateful to be alive at this time on the planet. Okay, who would like to? Yes? Okay, we have a question over here, and then, great.
Good afternoon. My name is Wanda Sabir, and I want to thank you so much for another marvelous Shakespeare production. I really enjoyed your production last year, and I'm so happy that Leslie is in touch with me and I'm here again. And thank you so much for being on my radio show last year to talk about this program. And wow, I'm so happy about the funding and the interest. That's really excellent. I was just taking notes as I was listening to the play and watching the play, which was really fantastic. And I wanted to just make a couple of comments and then ask a question or two or three. I was just thinking, sort of echoing what you said, the man who did the wonderful poem and dance. What's your name?
MC.
MC, yeah, you were really, really wonderful and right on. Because I was thinking about Nomo, the African tradition of naming, and how when you name something, you bring it into life, you call it into being. And we have those traditions in a lot of different spiritual traditions. I'm Muslim, and so the word is really important. And I speak about the transformative nature of language. I'm also a college professor. I teach English at one of the community colleges in Alameda County. And so I was just thinking about how words make people, and I really hope that I can come and see the writing that you've developed around your characters. I don't know if that's open to the public, but I'm interested, so maybe you'll invite me back. I'd love to see that. And I was thinking about the echo of remember, you know, the memory, and I just thought about that was just really important. And then the whole thing around sanity. And what do we do with our people that are not quite right in the head for a lot of reasons. I think about Hamlet. Hamlet was grieving. His father died. He hadn't had an opportunity to say goodbye. He was away in college. So he was grieving, and then he gets back, and it's like, oh, you know, forget that. The new father, uncle, says, you know, it's time is up. And when I thought about when I lost my father, and happy Father's Day to all the fathers, I went to the cemetery every Friday after Jummah prayer and sat and talked to my dad for a whole year. So, you know, how can you know the uncle, now father, and I heard the incest echoes too, say, okay, well, get over it. Your dad's gone. You know, you shouldn't be upset. And I really liked the sort of the play with the word mad, crazy, mad, angry. I thought, wow, Shakespeare's brilliant, man, and you all are just brilliant, like with letting us hear that. And I'm really happy that you took out, you know, Hamlet's ramblings, because maybe I would have missed it if I would have had all the other stuff to wade through, although I really like all the other stuff too. I was just thinking about forgiveness. I really liked when Hamlet was standing over his uncle, who was having a moment of reflection, thinking about, man, I really messed up, but hey, I got the stuff. You know, I got the crown and I got the woman, like, I ain't giving that up. And meanwhile, Hamlet's standing over him saying, oh man, I really want to kill him. But then he doesn't. And so I'm thinking he's not really as mad as he appears to be. And I thought, wow, that's really interesting. So I thought my questions, I was thinking about the idea of forgiveness. You know, forgiveness. I think Hamlet has a really big heart, and I don't think revenge was in it at all. I just think he was just really grieving, and grieving makes you go mad. You know, when you miss somebody that badly, you know they're not coming back. You see all kind of stuff. You know, I mean, for real. I know I did. So I was wondering about forgiveness, and I was always wondering about what lines did you love the most that were cut?
Can we also share lines that we love that were in it? Okay, so who wants to share on Wanda's question about the grieving process? Yes, Angel.
You know, it's interesting that she talks about forgiveness. This is my first time in prison. I have no prior record before this. But a gang member murdered my sister when I was a little boy. And that made me a very bitter, angry person. So I didn't really care for people in prison. So now I'm in here. And so sometimes you have to like go through an experience to want forgiveness so that you can learn to be able to forgive. Because I've met some of the most wonderful people in here. Really good men that just made a mistake, that didn't mean it, or just didn't know any better. Because I had a really good life. I have no excuse. But there's so many good people in here. And so sometimes you gotta experience it yourself. So forgiveness is a big thing in my life right now.
Thank you, Angel.
Real quick, because the question and answer is closing down, I got two. I got a young man over here, young man over here. I have the young lady here. Was that your question?
Okay, great.
Okay.
So maybe afterwards you can discuss more with anybody who can stay. You're welcome to discuss with our actors in person. But we have our next question.
I'll make it very brief. Hi, I'm Joshua Johnson from KQED News. I'm really, really impressed with this production. I did not understand Hamlet until today, so thank you. I can tell that some of you are starting to kind of come down from the production. I can see some of you are settling back into the fact that you're not, you know, actors anymore. You're about to go back to being the men in blue. So my question is, if you could leave here today, if today was your last day in San Quentin State Prison, and if you would be a free man tomorrow, what would you take from this experience to make sure you never came back?
Great question. I'd love to hear from some of the guys who have not shared yet. Raise your hand if you haven't shared yet. So Tristan, Devontae, Larry, great. Who wants to take? Tristan, what would you take away from this experience if this was your last day in San Quentin?
To make sure you never came back.
To make sure I never came back. Well, my name is Tristan Jones, first of all. I think the thing that I would take from this is just that there's a lot of people out there, a lot of people right here that are just really good people, and that they're there for you when you need them. I mean, you can rely on them. So my biggest thing would be just know that people are there for you in general.
Thank you. All right, who else wants to answer that? Larry.
My name is Larry Mosley. If I were to leave today, I would take from this experience accountability, a true sense of accountability, because the mental dexterity and everything that went into the logistics of this play, it took a lot. It was a huge challenge, you know. And I'm just thankful for the cast and Soraya and Leslie and everybody else out there in the audience. Thank you.
Great, thank you, Larry. And Devontae.
My name is Devontae Spires. I would take this positivity, because if I get out to the say, if I like I said, get out tomorrow, if I wasn't positive, I'll probably end up right back here. If I just walked around all negative and just did all the same things, and I would end right back up here. But if I take all this positivity that I have around me and just my new thinking that I have, I'll probably make it in the world. Yeah.
That's right.
Hi, my name is Joey. I would take from here the power of service, you know, to help people out there, start a center or something, help kids, help them to break out of that fear, wherever, you know, they're going through. That's what I would do.
Thank you, Joey. Great. We have time for 2 more questions. So, yes, your 3 more quick questions.
Hi everybody, my name is Sha'ai Al-Kiwalan, and I just wanted to say, if everybody could just give yourselves and our visitors and our cast a nice standing ovation right now for a great performance, and for everybody being here. I have a statement and then a short question, or a short statement and a question. Miss Keating, she said earlier today that Hamlet brings to life a lot of the betrayal, love, hate, and courage that exists in life today. And I also wanted to add to what her statement was some ecstasy and lunacy. And so my question to all the cast members here, because you all seem to be, show a lot of humility, a lot of courage, and some humbleness too, you know, when you found out what had actually happened. You know, there was a king that was murdered, you know, and someone took his place. So my question is there any relationship with the personalities of the cast, with the ecstasy and the subsequent lunacy of Hamlet's character with yourselves?
Let's have one person answer. Who would like to jump up and answer?
Okay.
Any connection with the ecstasy and lunacy to yourself?
You know what, I came from a very violent prison at High Desert, and over there's a lot of racial separation. It's really difficult to be friends with other races. You've got to be very careful. Here at San Quentin, it's a different environment. I'm actually able to be friends with anyone that I want to. And one of my best friends, the irony, is Luke. Luke is Hamlet. Hamlet, I'm talking to you. It's Hamlet. And Hamlet and me are really good friends. He's the one who invited me to the Shakespeare. So you see there is that connection. Just like in the play, I'm his best friend. In real life, I'm also one of his best friends.
Next question, we got 2 more questions.
I'm gonna make this quick. My name is Eddie. It's my first time ever seeing Shakespeare, period. Y'all did a great job. And I finally heard the words to be or not to be in the play. I've heard that before, but I just want to know if we did a close reading of when Hamlet was going through it about love with Ophelia. Why did he turn his back on love? I just don't understand that.
Why did Hamlet turn his back on love. Anybody have any thoughts about that?
Excuse me. I would take from here love and the ability to know that I can be successful no matter where I'm at in any part of this country. Because this place teaches you how to be the best in the most grimiest situations. Brother, I didn't turn my back on love. So no, okay. Sometimes you have to do things in order to save those that you do love. Hamlet didn't know that Ophelia was going to make the choices that she made. And in order to save her, he had to leave her and make sure that there was no connection. Does Hamlet love Ophelia? Yes. Throughout time. Love is timeless. It knows no bounds. It knows no parameters. So as Ophelia left, their love stayed. It just went someplace else.
Gene, my question would take the rest of the day and all night to answer, so I won't ask it. But really, no, but I feel like I'm so close to all of you that I would like to know the story of how you all ended up here. But forget that for now. I just want to say that this production is so terrific, you could take it anywhere outside and it would be a sensation. One more thing, there's a movie you all have to see. It's called Shakespeare Behind Bars. It takes place in a prison in Kentucky where folks just like you put on The Tempest. And it goes into the life of all the inmates there as they rehearse and produce this play. It's incredible. You got to see Shakespeare Behind Bars.
Thank you, Dean. Yes.